إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Before we begin, I'd like to remind everybody that if there's no need for them to do so, kindly come forward and sit close to the khatib, because the Prophet ﷺ said that whoever comes early for the khutbah comes and sits close to the khatib and listens attentively, his reward is such and such. جزاكم الله خيرا. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. فقال الله تعالى: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. وقال الله تعالى: يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدي هدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. ثم ما بعد. Allah sent down Surah Yusuf during Am al-Huzn. Am al-Huzn in the seerah, in the biography of the Prophet ﷺ, is famous as the year of grief or the year of sorrow. It's a period in the life of the Prophet ﷺ in which he was very severely tested by the loss of two people who were extremely dear and close to him, and two people who served as immense social and political support to him. In fact, even, dare I say, financial support. And they were the passing of his uncle Abu Talib first, and then his beloved wife, our mother Khadija radiallahu anha. They passed away between a period of only a few months. This was the 10th year after the commission of becoming a prophet, alayhi salatu. And Allah supported the Prophet ﷺ with number first, Surah Yusuf, which is a surah that brings a great degree of hope, because it discusses the life of Yusuf alayhi salam, who went through tremendous trials and tribulations, and yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always made him come out on top because of his strong reliance upon Allah and because of his patience. And the second event is obviously Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj, the descent to the seventh heaven and beyond. But in Surah Yusuf, there is a section that is of great importance and prominence and has great corollary in what is happening right now around the Muslim world. And this is the event that is mentioned in after the first couple pages. وَجَاءُوا أَبَاهُمْ عِشَاءً أَنْ يَبَكُونَ قَالُوا يَا أَبَانَا إِنَّا ذَهَبْنَا نَسْتَبِقُ وَتَرَكْنَا يُوسُفَ عِنْدَ مَتَاعِنَا فَأَكَلَهُ الذِّئْبُ وَمَا أَنْتَ بِمُؤْمِنٍ لَنَا وَلَوْ كُنَّا صَادِقِينَ. They, the brothers of Yusuf, the elder brothers of Yusuf, all of them older than him, Yusuf being a child of 7 years of age at that time, they had left him in Ghayabat al-Jub, in the darkness of a very narrow, dried up well, because they were jealous of their brother, and they left him over there, and then they came to their father at night. They came to their father at night because they wanted to pull a fast one over his eyes. They wanted to deceive their own father. Before we continue, remember who their father is. Their father, like all of you are fathers, you will be the best equipped to know about your child. Or the mother. If you're a parent, you understand the best what's going on with your child. If you are a father and you're a smart person, you'll be able to read people easily. But what about someone who's a Nabi as well? So they're trying to deceive someone who's their father, someone who's bright and intelligent, because Yaqub alayhi salam is a very smart person. He's someone Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gifted with knowledge and wisdom. And he is a Nabi of Allah Azza wa Jal, a person who has direct connection with Allah Azza wa Jal. And they think that they can deceive their father. So they come to him, and they come to him at night, hoping that the darkness of the night will conceal their sins. And they say to their father, "Oh, our father, we took Yusuf with us, and we went playing, and we left Yusuf in charge of our provisions. But we got distracted with play, and we went a little further ahead, and we lost track of time. In the meanwhile, the wolf came and devoured Yusuf, killed him and ate him. And we are telling you the truth, but we fear you will not believe us." And by saying this at the bottom, they confirm one thing: they are indeed liars. So they came to their father lying. They came to their father hoping to deceive him. They came to their father with misinformation, or rather disinformation. They came to their father with false evidences, because the next ayah says, وَجَاءُوا عَلَىٰ قَمِيصِهِ بِدَمٍ كَذِبٍ. So they came to their father and they brought him Yusuf alayhi salam's bloodied shirt with false blood. The Quran says bidamin kadhib, with false blood. So they brought to their father a false evidence. And what are they claiming all this time? "Father, believe us, we are the ones who are victims here. The wolf did it. We did not do anything wrong here. We are telling you the truth. Here's the evidence. Here's all the information we're telling you. Everything we're telling you is truth. Please believe us, but we fear you're not going to believe us." Why? Because they're lying. They're deceiving people. They're making up evidences. They're claiming that we are not the aggressors. We are the victims here. We did not do anything wrong. The other party did the wrong thing. We're just retaliating. Is there some similitude in what's going on right now? Very much. They're thinking that they can pull a fast one and deceive the entire world what's going on with their own aggressive actions. And they're not doing this to anybody. Everyone knows what's going on over there. It's clear as day. Or rather, in this case, at night, when these young men came. But listen to the response of Yaqub alayhi salam. This is how you and I need to respond in this scenario. Yaqub alayhi salam says, قَالْ بَلْ سَوَّلَتْ لَكُمْ أَنفُسُكُمْ أَمْرًا. Rather, your own souls have beguiled you. You're deceiving nobody here. You're fooling yourselves. You think you're putting a fast one on me? I know everything what's going on. And you know that I know what's going on. But for me, فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ وَاللَّهُ الْمُسْتَعَانُ عَلَى مَا تَصِفُونَ. For me, is an enduring patience. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one from whom help is sought about what you claim, about what you do. My brothers and sisters, Yaqub alayhi salam lays out for us a central principle in 2-3 very short sentences. First and foremost, anytime a calamity strikes, anytime an evil happens to us, anything that causes us sorrow or grief, our response as Muslims, first and foremost, is as-sabr. And it should be at the beginning of the calamity, because this is what indeed the Prophet ﷺ said. A lady was sitting next to a grave and crying. And the Prophet ﷺ passed by her. And she was weeping profusely. And he came to her and told her, as-sabr, be patient. And she, without even looking who was saying that to her, retorted, you do not know what has befallen me. So the Prophet ﷺ left her. The Sahaba radiallahu anhum told her, do you know who that was? That was the Messenger of Allah ﷺ. She could not believe what she said, and said to whom. So she got up and she rushed behind him. She went all the way up to his door. And then she said, Ya Rasulullah, I'm sorry, I did not know that was you. And the Prophet ﷺ told us something that you and I need to remember for the rest of our lives. إِنَّمَا الصَّبْرُ عِنْدَ الصَّدْمَةِ الْأُولَى. Patience is most befitting at the beginning of a calamity. Everyone and anyone can be patient after some time has passed. In fact, for most people, no other choice is remaining except being patient. After they've run from door to door trying to solve this problem, after they've been crying and weeping, after they've complained to every single human being who's willing to listen to them, now they're going to be patient. No. My brothers and my sisters, إِنَّمَا الصَّبْرُ عِنْدَ الصَّدْمَةِ الْأُولَى. Patience is most befitting at the beginning of a calamity. You and I, our response for what's going on right now in Palestine, the first thing should be we need to be patient and think. And the second thing is also what Yaqub a.s. said, وَاللَّهُ الْمُسْتَعَانُ عَلَى مَا تَصِفُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help is sought about things that you claim. Yani, the second response is ad-dua. It is something Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala confirms in Surah Al-Baqarah. وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ. Help, seek help in patience and prayer. Indeed, Allah Azza wa Jalla is with those who are patient. Make no mistake about this. What is ongoing very likely will continue for some time. There's no end in sight anytime soon. Every single time we turn on our cell phones, every single time we open the news, it hurts us, emotionally grieves us, it causes us anxiety and pain. Makes us feel extremely helpless. But this is not the time to cry wolf. This is not the time to lose your patience. This is the time to do two things: patience and prayer. And this is the time for action. But action in the most civilized and most intelligent and the most remarkable way possible. As when it comes to ad-dua, let's talk about ad-dua. Because many times we as an ummah devalue this great benefit that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. That's why the scholars used to call ad-dua silahul mu'min, the weapon of the believer. This is something that we need to utilize. And this is the best recourse that we have for sure. Not just for ourselves, but for sure our brothers and sisters in Palestine or anywhere else in the world. We can help them quickly and with surety, and that is with ad-dua. Whenever a person makes dua, they acknowledge that nothing happens without the permission of Allah Azza wa Jal, without His knowledge, without His will, and without His perfect planning. Indeed, Allah Azza wa Jal knows and is aware of everything. وَلَا تَحْسِبَنَّ اللَّهَ غَافِلًا عَمَّا يَعْمَلُ الظَّالِمِينَ. Do not for once think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not know about the actions of the evildoers. He is well aware of that. Every single time we make dua, it is something Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hears. And you should have no doubt about this. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ. And when my slaves ask you about me, tell them I am near, and I answer the dua of the one who makes dua to me. So make dua as much as you can. For yourselves, for your families, for your friends, and especially for the people of Palestine. This is the time for that. Whenever we make dua, it is an acknowledgement on our part that even though whatever has befallen us, it might be difficult, it is something, it is a test that we can take. And we know this from the ayah in the Quran. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Whenever a calamity befalls you, understand this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not burden a soul more than it can bear. If something bad is happening to you, understand this, you can take it. Your response is what matters. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not punish you or put a burden on you more than you can take, more than your soul can bear. In fact, that's the reason why the Prophet ﷺ said the people who are tested the most are al-anbiya, are the prophets. And after that, they're sahab, their companions. Because the companions do not have the same degree of iman as the Nabi does. And after them are the scholars. Because the scholars do not have the same degree of iman or patience that the sahab do. And after the scholars are the righteous Muslimun. May Allah make us from these people. If you are going through a difficulty in life, understand this. People before you have gone through much worse. One of the reasons why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down Surah Yusuf to the Prophet ﷺ was to console him and also to strengthen his heart. Ya Muhammad, even though what you're going through is a very difficult time, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there are people whom I've sent before you who also went through tremendous difficulty, who also were rejected by their family, who also were tested in the most severe tests possible. Understand this, what's going on in Palestine right now is a severe test for them. But I'm sure in my heart, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing with this, it's because they are indeed the people who can bear that test. And inshallah, they are the people whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will use as a way to give us himmah, to give us hope and to give us strength. For sure, they are an example in this regard for us. Salah does not end over there. Dua does not stop over there. Every single day, ruku and sujood are made over there. Despite wars, despite bombing, despite killing, it continues over there. Ibadah continues over there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is worshipped over there and is remembered over there. In fact, if anything, is being remembered more over there right now. May Allah make us amongst those people who are able to call upon Him for all of our needs. And may Allah make us amongst those people who witness something good and something benefit to come out of there. أقول قولي هذا لأستغفر الله لي ولكم. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Whenever we make dua, we acknowledge one thing, and we know this from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Anything that befalls a mu'min, it is good for them. And this happens only for the mu'min. So whenever they are tested with a calamity, they are patient. And whenever something good falls them, they are thankful. Our life vacillates between as-sabr and as-shukr. This is how we as Muslims always contend with difficult scenarios. And also when Allah SWT gives us happiness, gives us wealth, children, a good job, a great house, a fantastic car, we are thankful to Him and we do not forget His favors upon us. But whenever you make dua, understand this, dua works differently. Not every single dua is accepted or answered exactly the same. We know this from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, in which he described how dua works. If you want to, there's basically 5 scenarios for that. The first is, any single time you make dua for something, it is accepted and granted to you exactly the way you wanted it. Oh Allah, grant me this job. You go for an interview, you got the job. This is the dua that was answered immediately in the manner you wanted it. The second example for dua, if you make a dua, Allah will delay its response. He will grant you what you wanted, but the answer may not come immediately, because it is out of His wisdom and out of His perfect planning that Allah SWT delays sometimes the acceptance of the dua. It may not be good for you, or maybe Allah SWT knows that if He delays the answer, you will call upon Him more. And every single time you call upon Him, understand this, you are engaged in ibadah, because the Prophet ﷺ said, "Ad-du'a huwa al-ibadah." Supplication, it is the essence of worship. So the more dua you make, the more you're doing good deeds. Aside from the acceptance of dua, the dua in itself is an actual action of worship. It is causing your good deeds to be accumulated more and more for you. It is elevating your status in dunya and in akhirah. So make more dua. The third scenario, in which you make dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may not grant you what you wanted, but He will grant you something equal to or better than that. Something other than that, which is equal to it and better than that. Never less than what you want, because Allah is Al-Ghani. He does not need to give you less than what you asked for. He will give you equal to or better than what you want. Many times young people come and say this, especially if they've been married for a few years. They say, I wanted to marry so-and-so, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not accept my dua, but I ended up marrying my spouse, and I'm happy with her. This was a dua that was granted, but in a manner better than what you expected. My brothers and my sisters, the people in Palestine have been making dua for 75 years. You can argue they've been making dua for 100 years now. In fact, I would say there's not a single person in Palestine alive today who has not been seeing conflicts since the day they were born. It's been a good 100 years almost since the problems have been risen over there, and for sure 75 years since they've been in political and social persecution. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala delays the answers of people's dua, and it is out of His wisdom. We do not question that. We accept it and we are happy with that. Number 4, if you make dua for something, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not grant that to you, but He will repel a calamity instead of that. So something evil that was about to befall you, a dua that you made for something completely different, that dua will be used to repel the calamity from you. And finally, and this is my favorite, the Prophet ﷺ said, on the day of judgment, people will come and they'll have mountains of good deeds waiting for them. And they'll be astonished and they say, Ya Rabbi, how did I acquire all this? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell them, these are all of your du'as that I did not accept for you in dunya. And at that moment, the slave will wish not a single one of their dua was accepted in dunya. My brothers and my sisters, this is the time for us to be patient, and this is the time for us to call upon our Rabb and ask Him more, and ask Him more, and ask Him more. Not just for ourselves, not just for our family and friends, but for our brothers and sisters in Palestine. Not just Palestine, in Syria, in Burma, in India, in Pakistan, in Egypt, in many places in Asham in general, in Africa, and all over the world. Make no mistake about this, Islam and Muslims are under attack right now. This is the time for us to call upon our Rabb. Increase the time that you spend in Salah. Pray more if you can. Get up at night and do tahajjud. And this is the time for you to fast if you want to, and give sadaqah, because indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with people who do good deeds. And the chance of their dua being accepted increase. May Allah make us among those people who dua is accepted. And may Allah make us among those people who follow up a good deed with another good deed. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع مجيب الدعوات سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين وأقيم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Fill up gaps in the front rows before you take up spots in the back rows. Still. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي دين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair to Brother Salman Ghani for today's khutbah and salam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from you. MashaAllah, it was very eye-opening. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from all of us. Ameen. Please do listen to the announcements. Please provide your feedback on the Khatib at alsalammasjid.org or on the Masjid app. Please stop by the volunteers outside and how you can contact your representatives to discuss the situation in Palestine. Fatwa night tonight with Dr. Sheikh Salah Al-Sawi. Please submit your questions online. Preference will be given to questions that are submitted online at alsalammasjid.org. The ISGH Sisters collaboration with An-Nisa holding part 2 of conflict resolution tomorrow between 2 and 4 p.m. upstairs in the Sisters Masala. So this is a sisters only program, conflict resolution. Don't forget, fall back your clocks this Sunday, inshallah. Iqamah times will change. So, inshallah, Salat Fajr will be at 6 a.m. Dhuhr will remain at 1:45. Asr at 4 p.m. Maghrib will be about 5:30 and Isha will be 7:30 p.m. Isha 7:30 p.m. Also, the Jummah Salah will remain the same at 1:30, 2:30, and 3:15, inshallah. Sunday lecture after Fajr with Brother Faris Al-Salim at 6 a.m. Please do participate, followed by community breakfast. HPA is partnering with NASP in offering archery classes for girls and boys ages 10 and up starting November 13. Please go to houstonpeace.org to register. Please do make dua for those who are sick and those who have passed away. Dr. Talat Khan, who was murdered in Conroe last week. So please do make dua for her as well, and especially our brothers and sisters in Palestine. Donate generously to your masjid. Jazakumullah khair and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.